Are you ready to witness power that's been flying under the radar? Sometimes the most powerful characters are the ones everyone overlooks. In this list, we're diving into the world of underestimated heroes who pack a punch when it matters most. Welcome to Animeology, where today we're counting down the top 10 anime featuring main characters who may seem ordinary at first glance, but hide jaw-dropping power underneath their humble exteriors. Let's get started. Number 10, summoned to another world for a second time. Meet Setsu, the guy who really wanted to be left alone. Once a world-saving hero, he traded his legendary sword for a decidedly less glamorous life as a high school underachiever. But fate, it seems, has a cruel sense of humor, and a sudden gust of magical wind whisked him back to the lands of swords, sorcery, and suspiciously overdramatic NPCs. Imagine his joy. Now, instead of being greeted as a returning savior, Setsu finds himself thrust into the role of mysterious mass vigilante, because apparently, the world has developed a severe case of amnesia when it comes to its former hero. So, here we have our protagonist, a man who just wanted to finish his homework in peace, now dodging fangirls and fighting monsters while desperately trying to maintain his carefully cultivated air of apathy. Number 9, I parry everything. Nor, the human embodiment of a particularly well-trained tennis player, arrives in the royal capital with dreams of slaying dragons and rescuing princesses. Unfortunately, his idea of combat is a rhythmic dance of parry and riposte, completely devoid of any offensive maneuvers. While the kingdom teeters on the brink of war, Nor is blissfully oblivious. His days are a comical ballet of dodging arrows, deflecting swords, and accidentally sending his opponents flying with the sheer force of his parries. Despite his unique skill set, Nor's unwavering optimism and sheer dumb luck somehow managed to keep him alive. He accidentally saves the princess from a dragon by deflecting its fire breath back at it and becomes an unlikely hero, but don't be fooled by his newfound fame. Deep down, Nor is still that same wide-eyed boy who dreams of becoming a full-fledged adventurer. Number 8, Berserk of Gluttony. Life hates this dude named Fate Graphite. He's basically the poster child of worse luck. He starts life with the most appetizing skill imaginable, gluttony. Unfortunately, in a world where your birthright skill determines your worth, being perpetually hungry isn't exactly a career booster. So, there's Fate, our lovable loser, enduring endless mockery and a diet of leftovers while guarding a gate. After a chance encounter with a particularly nasty thief, Fate discovers his gluttony isn't just about bottomless pits for stomachs. It's a buffet of skills, a smorgasbord of stats, all waiting to be devoured. Suddenly, our once pitiful gatekeeper is leveling up faster than a cheat code in a video game. Enter Roxy, the only knight with a heart bigger than her sword. She sees potential in Fate, or maybe just feels sorry for him. Either way, she offers him a job. Fate, thrilled to escape the gatehouse and its endless streams of insults, jumps at the chance. And so begins the double life of Fate Graphite. By day, a humble servant. By night, a monster-munching, soul-sucking, power-leveling badass. Number 7, the Osan newbie adventurer, trained to death by the most powerful party, became invincible. It's never too late to start over. Don't believe us? Ask Rick Gladiator. While everyone else was busy waving wands and swinging swords as teenagers, Rick was happily punching numbers at a guild reception desk. But one fateful day, a midlife crisis hit harder than a dragon's fireball, and he decided to swap pins for swords. With all the grace of a startled hippo, he stumbles into the world of monster slaying and treasure hunting. But don't let his dad bod fool you. This ordinary-looking man is hiding a secret that would make a dragon blush. You see, Rick wasn't just any guild worker. He was the personal punching bag for the Aura Hulken Fist, the continent's most fearsome adventuring party. Years of being their unwilling sparring partner have transformed him into a walking, talking human wrecking ball. Now, armed with the battle scars of 1,000 near-death experiences, Rick is ready to show the world that old dogs can indeed learn new tricks, and they can pack quite a punch while doing it. Number 6. Uncle from Another World.
What the hell? Wind, return it.
Yosuke Shibazaki, or Oji-san, as his exasperated nephew calls him, is no ordinary uncle. After a rather dramatic 17-year nap in a coma-induced fantasy world, he's returned with a head full of dragon-slaying stories and a knack for conjuring water into midair. His nephew, Takafumi, is a mixture of disbelief and resignation as he becomes the reluctant manager of his uncle's newfound internet stardom. So there you have it, a middle-aged man with a questionable fashion sense and a vocabulary straight out of a medieval tavern trying to explain the concept of likes and subscribers to a talking lizard he befriended in another dimension. Oji-san's journey to internet fame is as unpredictable as his magical abilities. One moment he's casting fireballs in the kitchen, the next he's deep in philosophical debate with a cat who seems to understand his alien language better than his nephew.
I'll be back.
Through it all, the unlikely duo navigates the treacherous waters of online content creation, facing trolls, copyright strikes, and the occasional accidental summoning of a minor demon. Number 5. I was reincarnated as the 7th prince so I can take my time perfecting my magical ability.
Let's take a look at your defensive magic! Higher Land Sin City!
Lloyd is it when it comes to anime underdogs. He was a pervert for magic in his past life, and the 7th prince in his current one. You'd think he'd be all, woohoo, royalty! But no, this guy is more interested in spell books than scepters. Armed with a mana pool that would make a water park jealous, he's on a one-man mission to become the magical equivalent of Einstein. While his brothers are busy plotting, scheming, and probably practicing their royal waves, Lloyd is locked in his tower, conjuring fireballs that would make a dragon jealous.
Too slow.
It's a life of solitude, spellcasting, and the occasional existential crisis about whether a fireball can really solve world hunger. But this is not a hermit story. Those pesky demons decide to crash the magical study party. Suddenly, our Bookworm Prince is thrust into the spotlight, wand in hand, ready to show the world that magic isn't just for fancy parties and dramatic entrances. It's for kicking demon butt and saving the kingdom, apparently. Number 4. The Iceblade Sorcerer shall rule the world.
What is this, Ray? What are you doing?
Ray White, the man, the myth, the legend, decides to ditch his icy badass persona for a fresh start as a nobody. Think of it as Superman trading in his cape for a backpack and hitting the books. So there he is, our hero turned student, navigating the treacherous waters of teenage drama and magic exams. Imagine the Iceblade Sorcerer stressing over a pop quiz or fretting about a group project. It's like watching a shark try to join a dolphin pod. Surrounded by snooty nobles who think they're hot stuff, Ray's forced to put on a clueless act. It's like watching a poker face master trying to pretend he's never seen a card before.
Begin! You have no right to stand on the same soil as me!
Meanwhile, he's secretly plotting his next snap schedule and wondering if the cafeteria food has ever seen the inside of a fridge. But don't be fooled by his aw shucks demeanor. The moment someone threatens his newfound peace or those he cares about, the ice starts to crack. And when it does, get ready for a blizzard of epic proportions, because behind that innocent facade lies a sorcerer who could freeze over an entire kingdom with a sneeze. Number 3. Trapped in a dating sim. The world for otome games is tough for mobs.
4 down, 1 to go!
Way too many past live disasters taking the stage. Now it's time for simplicity. But is that really the case? You see, Leon Barford is a confusing individual. From one angle, he's the epitome of average Joe, and from the other, he's out there delivering the most savage one-liners known to man. Blackmailed into playing a dating sim, he endures countless hours of heart-fluttering nonsense until, in a moment of sheer willpower and questionable life choices, he conquers the game. In a classic case of life imitating art imitating life, Leon trips and falls into a world straight out of his beloved dating sim. Only this time, he's not the player controlling the heartthrob, he's the background character, the glorified potted plant in the corner. As Leon, the world's most reluctant mob character, navigates this absurd reality, he must use his encyclopedic knowledge of the game's plot to avoid becoming cannon fodder. Leon, armed with nothing but his gaming instincts and a questionable amount of common sense, must dodge flying declarations of love, fend off rival suitors, and somehow find a way to eat something that isn't just air and self-doubt. Number 2. Reborn to master the blade, from hero king to extraordinary squire. The boss of leadership and knighthood, the hero King Inglis, has finally decided that being a king is a bit like a glorified office worker. Too many meetings, not enough sword swings, he probably thought. So he packs his bags and rolls for a VIP ticket to the reincarnation lottery. Fast forward a few years and there she is, a tiny human with a giant ego. But don't let her innocent face fool you. This is a former king, people. She's got the strategic mind of a chess grandmaster and the fighting spirit of a rabbit squirrel. Unfortunately, the world has decided she's a delicate flower incapable of wielding a sword. Time for Plan B, become a squire. Yes, the same title usually reserved for starry-eyed teenagers who dream of knighting their crushes, but for Inglis, it's a golden opportunity to learn from the ground up, master every sword technique, and probably give her cousin, Rafina, a run for her money. Because let's face it, being a squire is just a warm-up for her real goal, becoming the badass swordswoman this side of the afterlife. Number 1, Wistoria, Wand and Sword. Paint the picture. You've got dealt a card so rotten, it's got mold growing on the corners. Will Surfort, our aspiring wizard, is more like Will Sorfort, given his magical prowess. Imagine a world where everyone's waving wands and summoning fireballs, and you're standing there, awkwardly holding a wooden stick, hoping it'll turn into a staff any moment now. This guy's dream was to become a magical rock star, a Magia Vander, tasked with holding the sky no less. But reality, it seems, has a cruel sense of humor. Instead of enchanting the world, he's enchanting, well, absolutely nothing. So what does a magicless magician do? He becomes a dungeon delver, armed with a sword that probably saw more action in the kitchen than a battlefield. But that's only on the surface. Under the rubble, you find a man that's neither weak nor cowardly.